All right, back here for sideboarding. Hope I'm not screwing this up too much, but kind of just preparing my deck to play a little bit of a longer game. Boarding Ancestral Visions, just a good grindy element against the Sultai deck's ability to make us discard a bunch of cards and elongate the game. Obstinate Bailiff is a nice tool against Liliana the Veil, which is one of the best cards against this deck. It's also just a big body that gains some life. It buys us some time, and it makes it difficult for Ross to pressure us properly. So I think that's a good inclusion. And then Oracle Moldiah against a Sultai version specifically, without something like a Lightning Bolt, just a cheap interactive spell. This is something that can just run away with the game, generate a lot of advantage. Ross is already incentivized to board out a lot of his removal, so I think it should be an effective tool, especially on the play. And then, as far as cards I'm boarding out, Prismatic Omen is something that Ross can actually interact with Abrupt Decay, so I think it's one of the weaker elements of the deck right now. And then Explore is just the worst acceleration spell when we're interested in playing a little bit of a longer game and grinding with our Ancestral Visions, so I think we're going to axe those, and then I don't feel too comfortable cutting a Lightning Bolt, but it's really only effective against Dark Confidant specifically, so I think shaving one is probably fine.
And on my side, Michael's right, I am largely trimming on removal spells. Disfigure is certainly the worst card in the deck. I've left in a couple, the Maelstrom Pulse and the Slaughter Pact specifically, because Maelstrom Pulse can also deal with Omen if need be, and still deals with all the creatures. I'm cutting one Decay. I still want to interact with Omen to some degree, but you can't draw too many of such a narrow card. If I get flooded on them, then I'm not going to have the necessary tools to disrupt other elements of Michael's game plan, and if he doesn't draw an Omen, then it's a disaster. And I'm also cutting what is the slowest and worst threat in the deck, which is one Kalitas. If I had a better sideboard for this matchup, I would try to be bringing out the second copy as well, but there just aren't enough cards to bring in unless I really decide I want the second Imp's Mischief, which I think is also a bit greedy, even though Michael's bringing in Ancestrals and then has his counter spells, things like Remand and Cryptic Command that Imp's Mischief can counter, although relevantly, it cannot redirect a Cryptic Command that uses both the counter and bounce modes, because then it'll have two different targets. Cards I'm bringing in are just better interacting with him. The fourth Liliana is great, even though Obstinate Bailiff is now a danger of it, still a great card. I think the two counter spells are going to end up also serving a very good purpose, especially Dispel against Cryptic Command. And then I've swapped Kalitas for a slightly more efficient, but still not great threat in Scavenging Ooze. And then I've got another discard spell, Duress, that's obviously great in this matchup. So pretty clear changes to make here. Should overall tighten the deck. And you can join us for the rest of the games.
All right, back here for game 3. I am keeping this hand. Someone out there is going to scold me for it. But traditionally in these like critical, massive resource decks like Scapeshift, mulliganing against the discard heavy decks is really tough, so I'm more inclined to keep sketchy hands, but that is exactly what this is.
My hand is also sketchy, but on 6 cards, as I've mulliganed again, I think this is certainly a keep on the draw, because if we hit, it's very powerful. Scry, yeah, that's a thing. And keep that on top, that's what we need.
Go.
I'm going to go to 15 to get an Overgrown Tomb and Thoughtseize You. I guess I will take your Lightning Bolt. You can go.
Perfect. Go.
That's going to be too slow, so I'll just play this Bob.
Go.
Upkeep. 0.
Don't want to sacrifice Scapeshift, or excuse me, Secure Tri-Builder, because we don't have a Cryptic Command. I think that's the only real reason I would want to accelerate in that spot. Or if I like Oracle Moldiah. Just saving the points of damage is going to be relevant. So we're going to need time. Might not even block this Dark Confidant this time, because Ross probably has a bigger threat. We could absorb more damage.
I'm going to go to 13 and play Liliana.
Okay. That changes things, obviously.
Good.
Yep.
I will plus.
It's tough. I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to discard my Scapeshift or a land. Obviously, we only need one Scapeshift, but if Ross just draws another Thoughtseize, then we're in pretty big trouble. And if we discard a land, we're going to need to peel off 2 more lands, which is going to be also difficult against a Liliana ticking up every turn. So I guess I'll discard a Scapeshift.
Yeah, discard Treetop. And I'm going to attack, because I actually think this trade is fine.
Yeah,
in our hand.
I have to get a land.
Yeah. So now you have 3 cards in hand.
Yep. Go.
Upkeep. I go to 10. Draw for turn.
Yep.
Plus.
Discard Forest. Want to keep the fetch land because of we draw a Prismatic Omen.
I am mildly scared of Prismatic Omen. I'm going to discard Abrupt Decay. I think I'd rather keep the Pulse in case he draws Obstinate Baloth. And I will play a Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
And suspend Ancestral.
Yep.
Attack for 2.
18.
You can go.
Alright, play Serum Visions.
Yep.
So up 2.
We got land and sorcery creature.
Yeah, I think we just want to bottom both of these, even though it's a little awkward, but yeah, I think we just have to bottom both. Try to go for it next turn. And I'll play a land pass.
This goes to 3.
Yep.
Trigger Bob, 0. Draw for turn.
Yep.
Plus Liliana.
Gain 4.
You go to 22.
Yep.
I guess we will pulse it.
Yep.
So now, we've landed into sorcery creatures. This is 4/5.
Yep.
We always had that. And attack you for 6.
16.
16. Hope you don't draw a land.
Yeah, basically have to draw an accelerant or a land to
You can
kill
go.
Ross. Yep. The old Scapeshift sweat.